Hello vinyl community, welcome back to Martin's Vinyl. It's that time of year again where everyone's talking about their favourite finds and buys of the year of 2023, and I thought I would contribute mine. I've had a really crazy year this year, really bonkers. The start of the year went really well. If you're unfamiliar with my channel, previous years I was buying and selling a lot of records to help fund me find and buy the records that I've been after for a very long time. And at the start of the year, January, February, March, I was doing that. I was spoiling myself rotten with grails galore. But by the time I hit spring, it was a bit of a bad patch for me personally. I got made redundant from my job, and my son got diagnosed with autism. Which we finally needed. We needed that diagnosis to help him really, and so we finally got that diagnosis, and we managed to put him in the right school and give him all the therapy that he needs. So a lot of my funds went into that to ensure that he was getting that therapy, and so the record buying kind of stopped, but not completely stopped. I'll get to that later as we go through the video, but I did manage to get to the end of it. I did manage to find another job, and I did manage to start picking up records again. I didn't buy any collections, or I haven't started selling any records again, but I did start getting start buying records again at the end of the year, thankfully. So I'm hoping in the year 2024 I'll be able to start buying and selling records again, hopefully. But I would just want to say thank you, vinyl community. When I was going through that bad patch, thank you very much for all your comments and your supportive comments as well. It's been really nice. You've been keeping me sane through my very bad patch. So thank you very much, vinyl community. I really do appreciate it. I really do. But all that being said, don't forget to like and subscribe. Purely because I'm going to show you a bunch of records that I bought this year that I've already showcased. But I have bought a nice sexy stack of records that I'm keeping hold of for now, because at the start of every year, in the new year, the vinyl community put out 20 questions that we have to answer, and you have to answer them with a record. So I'm keeping these records back, so I get to show a lot of new records for the vinyl tag. So please don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on those. Alright, now that's all being said, let me go over all the grails that I got this year. Right guys, the first record I want to show you is probably the most important record I want to show you, because this is the record that started it all for me. This is Fleetwood Mac's Mr. Wonderful from 1968. I've been after a copy of this for a very, very long time. This is the first UK press on the Blue Horizon label. I first heard this album maybe 15 years ago. I was working with these two guys before I was buying records. I was working with these two guys who were very much into their records. And after a busy day, we would go sit outside with a drink and listen to records. They were very much jazz lovers, so I'm not much of a jazz guy, but they loved their jazz. But every now and again they would throw on a blues record, and one day they threw on this one. And as soon as I heard it, I immediately fell in love with it. I was like, who's this? And they said, this is Fleetwood Mac. And I was like, I've heard of Fleetwood Mac. These sound nothing like Fleetwood Mac. This is the Fleetwood Mac way before Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks joined. This is Peter Green's Fleetwood Mac, who I've been in love with ever since. For me, Peter Green is one of the greatest blues guitarists ever. Meaning fell in love with this one, and ever since that day, I've been wanting to have this one on record, a first UK press record. But it's been very much out of my price range for a very long time, so I've had to settle with CDs and reissues on vinyl. But this year I've managed to find a very good, clean, near mint copy of it, which didn't cost me the earth. So I've been very, very happy to add this one to my collection finally. So staying on the early English blues train, shortly after finding Mr. Wonderful, I picked this one up This is Chicken Shack, 40 blues fingers, ready, packed and ready to serve, from 1968, again on the first UK Blue Horizon label. These guys weren't too far behind Fleetwood Mac at the time in popularity. These guys were incredibly influenced by Freddie King. They do quite a few covers of his songs on the album. The main man, Stan Webb, the guitar player and songwriter, is incredible talent. This is the debut album for the band, and this is the one that features Christine Perfect, who we all know leaves the band and goes and marries John McVie at Fleetwood Mac and joins Fleetwood Mac. If you like early Fleetwood Mac, you definitely won't be disappointed with this one. Really good. And after finding that one, I had to buy their follow-up album, OK Ken. This one is equally as good as their debut album, but they sound like they're having a great time doing it. This one does also feature Christine Perfect. It's just after this one that she goes and leaves and joins Fleetwood Mac. Another incredible album. Alright, next up we have got Savoy Brown, A Step Further, from 1969. This is the first UK mono on the Decca label. The first side is a studio album, the second side is a live album. Savoy Brown, in my opinion, have always been a very underrated band and always deserved a little bit more recognition. I made a video a couple of years ago about my top 10 most wanted records, and Savoy Brown was in there. I don't have anything in their back catalogue. Some of you guys over in the United States might be raising your eyebrows at this. It's because they were a lot more popular over in America than they were here in England. To find a first press in the States would be on the Parrot label and cost next to nothing. I think you can get a good clean copy for $15. But finding a good clean copy of a first press on the Decca label here in the UK can be a lot more expensive and a lot more difficult to find. The founder, guitarist and songwriter of the band is a guy called Kim Simmons, who's an incredible talent, really good guitar player. And one of my goals for the 2024 is to find more Savoy Brown, because I love the band. Right, back in 2022, it was my goal to find the first 4 Led Zeppelin first UK presses, and they came on the Plum label, the Atlantic Plum label, first UK presses. And I managed to find Led Zeppelin 2 and Led Zeppelin 3. And I really quickly wanted to find the other one, number 1 and number 4. And the start of this year, I did manage to quickly find it. I found a very good, clean copy of Led Zeppelin 1 on the Plum label, first UK press. And with the help of my good friend Richard Warwick, a member of the vinyl community, he managed to help me find the missing piece that I've been after. This is Led Zeppelin 4 on the first UK Plum. So thank you, Richard. The start of my 2023 was off to a banging start with the help of Richard. Thank you very much. Right, so after finding the first 4 Led Zeppelin albums, I managed to take that off my list. My attention now was really drawn on finding the first 4 Black Sabbath albums, the first UK presses of them. I've already got one. I've already got Paranoid. I've had that one for years. So my goal was to find the other 3. And the first UK presses came on the Vertigo Swell. So I need to find their debut album. I need to find Masters of Reality. I've got Paranoid. But I at least managed to find one. I managed to find Black Sabbath Volume 4. A really good clean copy on the Vertigo. So that's 2 down and 2 to go. I'm not going to go into any details. Everyone knows Black Sabbath and the first 4 albums because they're incredible. But I will just say, when I picked this one up, I didn't pay nearly as much as this one normally goes for, because the first UK presses of Black Sabbath, they can go very, very high when you're trying to find a clean copy. But I will say for this one, I did find this one. It was going for a lot cheaper than what it normally goes for. But when I pulled it out, the record was in bad shape, but not bad shape and scratches or anything like that. It was just really, really dirty. Really dirty and smudgy and everything. And I think the guy who was selling it just thought it was just really bad copy, but it wasn't. It just really needed a good clean. So I bought it and I took it to a record store that cleans all your records for you. And they managed to clean this one up. They gave this really good clean. And I brought it home, and this thing plays near mint, so I managed to get my hands on a really good, clean copy. And I'm not paying that much for it. I want to say, when it comes to, for me, buying records, because I always, when I show these rare, more expensive records, people always in the comment section always ask, what did you pay for it? What did you pay for it? And I know we're always curious about what people pay for it. I'm just going to say, with me, with my record buying, you can by all means look this one up and see how much they normally go for on Discogs. Discogs is a good guide. I just want to say, for me personally, I never pay what the Discogs is saying these ones go for. If anything, it's normally half of what I pay for a record, which I know that they go for. If it is out of my price range, then I'll wait for another day and buy a copy that I know I'll be able to find, because I do find them sooner or later. If not, I just hold out for that a bit longer. And it's only happened to me once or twice, where there is a record that I've been after for a long time, a rare record. And what I would normally do is that I would trade a bunch of records that I'm personally not selling. I can't sell. So it's just no interest in them. I trade them. I trade like a whole bunch of records for one record that I've been wanting for a really long time. So when people mention in the comments, I would never pay that much for a record, I don't either. I really don't. And I've done it in the past. And I'll do it again in the future if I can't find it. And if I do find it, and it's a cheaper price, I'm not going to buy it. I'll hold out for that a little bit longer. Anyway, I've gone really off topic. 2 down, 2 to go. Let's keep going. Right, next record I want to show you is an incredible album. This is Ann Peebles, I Can't Stand the Rain. Let me just take it out of the jacket. There it is, so you can see a bit better. This is the first UK press on the London label. There we go, stereo. There we go. This is an incredible funk soul album from 1974. It's incredible stuff. Not that expensive when you do find one, but it is quite rare when you find one. To find a good clean copy is going to cost you about £30 to £40, but they are very difficult to find. It's taken me years to find this one. For me, Peebles an incredible singer, and probably without doubt, for me, she's one of the greatest all-time female soul singers. She's up there with Aretha Franklin for me. She's really good stuff. If you haven't heard of Ann Peebles, the title track, I Can't Stand the Rain, been covered by many artists, Tina Turner that you know, but her original version is the one. Really good stuff. Alright, this is a biggie. This was a big one for me this year. On that rare occasion, sometimes you come across an album from the first listen, from the first get-go, it just immediately secures a place in your private top 10 albums of all time. And this is one of them. This is Terry Callier's What Colour Is Love. This is the first press on the Cadet label. Essential listening. If you haven't heard of Terry Callier, What Colour Is Love, pause this video, stop what you're doing, go listen to it, go stream it, go YouTube it, do what you have to do to listen to this album, because this is a brilliant soul jazz album. Very sexy, very smooth soul and jazz. My wife rarely comes in here when I'm listening to a lot of sort of strange, obscure records, but when I play this one, she comes in and she enjoys it just as much as I do. This is very good album, very good album. Listen to it. A big track for me was You're Gonna Miss Your Candyman. Brilliant song. Listen to it. Alright, next up for you, I've got Atomic Rooster from 1970. This is their debut album on the B&C record label. Formed by members from the band The Crazy World of Arthur Brown. This has got the organist Vincent Crane, and it's got the drummer Carl Palmer in the band. They're known for their hard progressive rock sound. Fantastic album. I really enjoy this one. I enjoy this one so much that after listening to it, I wanted to get their follow-up album, which was this one, Death Walks Behind You. This is a first UK press from 1970 still. When I first grabbed it, I was disappointed to discover that the lineup had completely changed, but I was amazed at how great this sounds. really good classic prog rock album. For me, if Black Sabbath decided to be more on the prog side than the heavy metal side, this is what they would definitely sound like. This is very attractive, very addictive listening. An absolute must for heavy prog rock fans. Right, next record I want to show you guys is Nazareth, Hair of the Dog. This is a big album. A lot of you will recognise this album. This is from 1975. Nazareth, a big Scottish band. They played hard rock and blues rock. The lead singer, Dan McCafferty, was very similar sounding to AC/DC's Brian Johnson, in my opinion. The reason I'm showing this is because this is a slightly rarer pressing. This is the first UK press, which came on the Mooncrest label. I believe a lot of the reissues came on the Mountain label, and I just thought you record collectors would appreciate seeing a first UK press on the Mooncrest label. I am a Nazareth fan, and when it comes to my vinyl tag, I will be answering one of the questions with another Nazareth album, but again, like this one, it'll be a slightly more rare, more expensive record that I'm going to be showing, so make sure you don't miss out on that one, Nazareth fans. Ultimate Spinach, they were a short-lived psych rock band. At their peak, they toured with the likes of Big Brother and the Holding Company. Very good 60s psych. If you're fans of Jefferson Aeroplane, this is a band to definitely check out, because that's the closest comparison I can make with the band. For me, when it comes to finding first presses and stuff, I have another little thing that I like to do. I like to find original first presses from where the band is from, and Ultimate Spinach are from America. I managed to get my hands on American pressing. This is on the MGM label, and lucky for me, the American pressings go for a lot cheaper than the first UK pressings. So big score for me. Alright, we have Fugees, The Score from 1966, UK first press on the Columbia label. Pure nostalgia for me, this one. Lots of big memories, because it was such a huge album at the time. It was one I wasn't able to buy. I went into the store to buy it, and they said I couldn't buy it because of the parental guidance sticker on it, and I was told to leave the shop. Yeah, big memories of this one. It's got their big hits on here, Ready or Not, Killing Me Softly. Killing Me Softly is probably one of the best cover songs ever. Pure nostalgia, really enjoyed this one. And this is one I got very early in the year. This is Muddy Waters, Hard Again. A very, very common album, a very accessible album. You can find this one very quickly and very cheaply. But the unique thing about this one, this is an upgrade copy for me. I've had this one in my collection forever. But the reason why I've swapped it out and upgraded this one, because this is a promo record. More on promos later, because I've been big on the promo front this year. But we all know this album. It's got Managed By on here. It's got Johnny Winter on here. This is a classic blues album. And I'm very excited to upgrade it to a white label promo. Here comes Shuggy Otis. This is a UK first press on the CBS label from 1970. Brilliant psychedelic soul rock. Shuggy Otis plays multiple instruments. But he only has 3 self-titled albums to his name. He's got this one, and the other 2 are called Freedom Flight and Inspiration Information. Probably those 2 are probably a lot more difficult to find than this one, but those other 2 are always on my radar to find. If you don't know who Shuggy Otis is, you need to get some Shuggy Otis in your life. He's a really good player. He's worked with some of the best. He's worked with the likes of Bo Diddley and Frank Zappa and Al Kooper, just to name a few. And his work gets sampled all the time. His work's been sampled by Outkast and Beyonce. So yeah, definitely worth checking out if you haven't heard of Shuggy Otis. This is another upgrade copy for me. This is Colosseum's Valentine's Suite. This is the first UK press on the Vertigo Swell. I've had this copy before, but my copy, the record, the cover isn't very good, Nick, but the record itself, if I gave it VG, I would be giving that VG very generously. But I did manage to find a copy on Discogs, which just sold the record in very good VG plus shape. So I swapped that one out quite quickly. You haven't heard of Colosseum, they're essential classic prog rock. I had to get an upgrade because it's jazz rock progressive brilliance. If you guys have heard Colosseum, sure you have. You've heard of them. Right, here's a guy I know you heard of. This is Frank Zappa's Chunga's Revenge. Probably the most accessible one for any new listeners of Frank Zappa, because his back catalogue can be very crazy out there sometimes. But this one has always got stunning instrumentals of jazz rock fusion. The reason I want to show it to you guys because this is the first UK press on the Reprise label. And the first UK presses came on the gold mustard border. Most other pressings, they came on a red one, but the first UK press came in the gold mustard one. All right, next record I want to show you is Shocking Blue at Home from 1969. This record ticked a lot of boxes for me when I pick it up, because I've discovered I'm getting more and more fussy what I bring home now in my collection. But for me, this one is in really good condition. For me now, I seem to only bring home what I think is VG+. And as you know, I'm all about the first pressings, which is. And the other thing I really like to do is I like to bring the record home from where the band is from. So, for example, this band is from Holland. So I've managed to get my hands on a Holland pressing, which is on the Pink Elephant label. If you don't know who Shocking Blue are, they're a great psychedelic rock garage pop band from the late 1960s. Very short-lived band, but really good band. Their most famous song is Venus, but that's a single that came out a bit later when they were on tour. That came out as a singles, and in other countries you will find the track Venus on the album, but on the first Holland press you wouldn't find it on there. That's how you know you got a first Dutch press. Right, the next record I want to show you is a first for me. This is a box set. I don't do box sets. This is my very first one I've ever purchased. Because as you guys know, I'm all about original first presses, but this one is very close to my heart. This is my local band. This is a band from Southampton. This is a band called Band of Skulls, and the name of the album is Death by Diamonds and Pearls. I loved them ever since I first heard of them. They are a little bit popular in the UK, but they are much more popular over in the States. But every time they come back to our hometown, me and my wife are always eager to go listen to them, and we always enjoy them. But the last time around, we went to go listen to them when they came back to the hometown. This box set was up for sale, and it was great. The price was greatly reduced, and I've been after first press on vinyl for the longest time, but I gave in. I bought this box set, and I'm glad I did, because after I purchased it, the lead singer, the lead guitarist came to the stall, and he signed it for me, and I managed to chat to him for a bit. I asked him at the time, so where can I find a UK first press? He says he doesn't know. He doesn't even have a copy of his own, but there are copies out there, but they're just extremely rare and very expensive when you do find one. So that is just another record for to add to the list for that I really, really want. Great band, great rock band. Give them a listen. Okay, guys, we hit that point now in the year where it's I had a really bad turning point. As I mentioned at the start of the video, this is the time of the year where I was facing redundancy. I did get made redundant. My son got diagnosed with autism, and a lot of our funds, me and my wife's funds and energy, went into sourcing the right school for my son and making sure he had all the right therapy to help him as much as we could with all our energy and resources that we had. So for me, buying the more rare, expensive records was at a standstill now. But my wife was amazing through this whole ordeal that we went through. She's amazing wife. So lucky I had her through this bad patch we were going through, because without her, I think we would have really struggled. So try not to get emotional, but the other good thing I had for me, for my own mental health, was finding and buying records. I know that sounds silly, but for me, hunting records is no different than a hobby like going fishing. If you enjoy fishing and you want to break from it all, what do? You go fishing. It's no different for me finding records. It's what I do. It's a distraction from reality sometimes. So the small amount of time that I had, I managed to get away from it all now and again, going record hunting. And instead of going to record stores and record fairs where records can be quite pricey, I swapped that all out for car boot sales and charity shops and just any other flea market, or just where I could find a bargain on some cheap records. And I did manage to find a few, not a lot, because my funds are quite tight, and these are the ones that I wanted to share with you, because I did find a couple bits of gold amongst the rough. The first one I want to show you is Bobby Bland, Ain't Nothing You Can Do, from 1964. I picked this one up in a charity shop for £3, and the average price of these on Discogs go for about between £80 to £100, and I think it's not the best Bobby Bland record, but I think the reason why it's quite expensive is because it's never been reissued again. This is, yeah, as you can see, it's on the Vicalian label. If you don't know Bobby Bland is, he's got that massive hit, Ain't No Love in the Heart of the City. He's a great soul and R&B singer. His stage name is actually Bobby Blues Bland. And I think why this one got passed over is because it is a very charity shop looking record cover. But very close to trying to sell this one because I needed the money. But I managed to find a job before having to sell this one. So yeah, they are out there still in charity shops. Right, the next one I want to show you is this one. I found at a car boot sale. We all know the Cramps, Off the Bone from 1983. Again, I mean, pay £3 for this at a car boot sale. It's not a first UK press, but it is a first European press. It doesn't have the 3D the cover and the glasses. But average copies of these go for £30 to £40. It's got all their classics on here. It's got Garbage Man and Goo Goo Muckle on here. My daughter really likes it because of Goo Goo Muck and Wednesday and all that. So yeah, it was a bargain of a find at the car boot sale. Another one I found at a car boot sale was this one, Strider Exposed, from 1973. Got a car boot sale, found it for next to nothing. If you do find it, they aren't normally that expensive. You should get a good copy for about £15. Really good, cheap heat from the early 70s. If you haven't heard of Strider, very short-lived band. They only did 2 albums, I think. This is their debut album, which is really good. But on the second album, their lineup had completely changed, and they kind of lost their sound. But this is really good hard rock. If you see it, grab it. This is a first press on the G&M label. Really good hard rock. Yeah, Strider Exposed. The next bargain that I found, I managed to find this one online. And this one's Flat Giro Jets from 1991. Really good garage rock that inspired the White Stripes. Been after this one for a long time. They never released it here in the UK. So when I saw this one on eBay for £10, I grabbed it. And it was still sealed. So a first American press from 1991. Never been opened before. Yeah, Flat Giro Jets, Go Go Harlem Baby. But thankfully, me and my family managed to get to the other side of all of this. After 3 hard months, I've managed to find another job, a much better job, a better pay job, which is more stable, more security. I managed to get our son into the right school, and he's getting all the treatment and therapy that he needs. So me and my family are in a very good space now, and we've kind of got our lives back on track, and I've gotten back to doing what I want to do, is finding those records. And like I said at the start of the video, I've got a small stack that I'm eager to share with you because there's some really good gems in there, but I'm holding on to them for the vinyl tag video of 2024, so don't forget to like and subscribe. But what I've also been doing at the other end of this is that I have been picking up a lot of promo records. I did make a video of it. Thank you for anyone who watched it. But I've been really getting into promos. And I think the reason why I have is that I've been finding and wanting to listen to a lot of the classic albums that we do recognise it. But for me to want to bring it home for me as a record collector, for me to bring something that's quite recognisable and accessible to most, is that I would only want to bring it home if there's something really unique and special about it. As you know, I love finding original first presses, but one thing that can top that for me is finding a promo record of said album. If you don't know what a promo record is those are the records that were sent out to help promote the album itself. Yeah, just anything unique about it. If it's a Japanese pressing, for example, if it's a signed copy, for example, just something just a bit different about it, a bit more unique about it for me to bring it home. I really just sort of find, like, as record collectors, we sometimes get lost in the rarity of some rare albums and the more unique albums, but we sometimes forget to listen to the classics. And I do enjoy a classic, don't get me wrong, the classics for a reason, but for me to bring it home and put it in my collection, it's got to be something different, something special about it, and promo for me is the way to go. I'm just going to show you a couple of my favourites because I've just recently done a promo video, so this is just a few of my favourites. I've got Bob Marley's Kaya. We all know Bob Marley, we all know this album, but this is a Japanese pressing, and this is a white label promo. This has got the great tracks on here: Easy Skanking, Is This Love, Sun Is Shining, and to pick up a promo copy of it, it's a big plus for me. Another favourite of mine is Jethro Tull's Stand Up. We all recognise this album. It's got the great pop-up in the middle. Not only that, it's a promo, as you can see, the white label. Here you go. Another one, favourite of mine, is Neil Young, Time Fades Away. You can see the promo sticker there and the white label on the back from 1973. And the last one I'm going to show you is B.B. King's Completely Well, another Japanese promo from 1969. It's got the great tracks on here. The Foot Is Gone. Thank you very much if you watched it all to the end. Don't forget to like and subscribe because I will be back very soon in the new year. I'm going to have a break now, the holidays and Christmas, so have a great Christmas, have a great new year. I'll speak to you very, very soon. Thank you.